Greetings everyone. Here is my BTech project Smoke Image Analysis using Convolutional Neural Networks, and I'm Darshan Jain, pre-final year student of LNM IIT. So here comes the introduction. So fire detection task is crucial for people's safety. Several fire detection systems were deployed to prevent damages caused by fire. One can find different technical solutions. Most of them are sensor based and are also generally limited to indoors. They detect the presence of the particles generated by the smoke and fire by ionization, which requires a close proximity to the fire. So consequently, they cannot be used in large coverage area. Moreover, they cannot provide information about initial fire location, direction of smoke, propagation, size of the fire, growth rate of the fire, etc. To get over such limitations, video fire detection systems are much used. Due to rapid developments in the digital camera technology and video processing techniques, there is a significant tendency to replace standard fire detection methods with computer vision based systems, video based detection techniques, as well as suited to detect fire in large and open spaces. Several fire smoke detection systems were developed to prevent damages caused by fire. Evolution and rapid development in digital camera technology domain and video processing techniques. An idea to replace standard fire deviation method with computer based vision systems. Video based fire detection techniques are well suited for detect fire in large and open spaces. So here comes the next slide, and it's convolutional neural networks. And convolutional neural networks or CNN are made up of one input layer and an output layer. The hidden layers structurally includes convolutional layers, ReLU, activation layers, pooling layers, fully connected layers, and normalization layers. Instead of neurons being connected to every neuron in the previous layer, they are instead only connected to the neurons close to it. CNN treats data as spectacle connected. CNN is based on local repetitive fields, pooling or downsampling of data, shared weights. And the shared weights and the bias are the kernel or filter. Convolutional layer provides translation invariance. These filters worked on the every part of the image. They are searching for some same feature everywhere in the image, and here is the data augmentation can also help with overfitting and will certainly improve and results small rotations, small transitions, scaling, flipping, and brightness and some noises. So we can move to our next slide. It is comparison between CNN and RNN. Basically, CNN is a feed forward neural network which finds a lot of its application in large recognition and object recognition sectors, whereas RNN is fundamentally based on the feedback, that is output of the current layer is dependent on the previous layer as well. CNN worries only about the current input, where RNN is memory driven. It has memory. CNN normally constructed with 4-layer convolutional activation layer, pooling layer, and fully connected layer. The major task carried out by each layer is to extract feature and to find out patterns in the input image. RNN is all about input hidden and output layers. The hidden layers does not the looping and has the memory to store the previous results. CNN is more suitable for images, whereas RNN is more suitable for sequential data and less effective in images. CNN has finite set of input in it, and it generates only the finite set of as predicted on its output. RNN allows arbitrary input length. CNN is found to be too good for image and video related projects, whereas RNN always found good with time series information like what we can be the next word in the sequence. So here is the comparison, and we can move to next slide. It's unit. So basically the unit architecture stems from the so-called fully functional network first proposed by Long, Selhammer and Darrell. The main idea is to supplement a usual contracting network by successive layers where pooling operations are replaced by upsampling operators. Hence these layers increase the resolution of the output. What's more, a successive convolutional layer can be learned to assemble a precise output based on this information. One important modification in unit is that there are large number of feature channels in the upsampling part, which allows the network to propagate context and information to higher resolution layers. As a consequence, the expensive path is more or less symmetric to the contracting part and yields a U-shaped architecture. The network only uses the valid part of this convolution without any fully connected layers. To predict the pixel in the border region of the image, the missing context is extrapolated by the mirroring the output image. This titling strategy is important to apply the network to large images, since otherwise the resolution would be limited by the GPU memory. And here is layers in UNIT. So different layers in UNIT are the convolutional layer. So let us first talk about the very first layer, which is a convolutional layer. Convolutional layer, as the name says, in its core block of the CNN, which it does it like bunch of filters which will get applied to the given input image and create different activation features in that convert image, so that we can have some input as well as output, and the depth of the output would be same as the number of kernels. It works by placing a filter over the array of image pixels, and then it creates what's called convolute feature map. It's a bit looking like an image through a window, which allows we to specific features we might not otherwise be able to see. And the next is pooling layer. It down samples or reduces the sample size to a particular feature map. Is also makes processing much faster, as it reduces the number of parameters the network needs to process the output of this. Is pooled feature map. There are two ways of doing this. Max pooling. Max pooling is how network asks whether a feature is found anywhere in some region of in the image. After that, it will lose the exact position, takes the maximum input of a particular convolute feature. And average pooling, and it simply takes the average of the particular fields, and it also have a ReLU layer. So it is a fully connected layer. The ReLU layer acts as an activation function, ensuring non-linearity as the data moves through each layer into the network. Without it, the data being fed into each layer would lose the dimensionally that we want to remain. ReLU helps with the vanishing gradient problem. ReLU generates sparsity. And here is the transposed convolution. It is upsampling technique that expands image size, and basically it does some padding on original image followed by convolution operations. So this is the image segmentation architecture. We have we can see that pooling indexes and convolutional encoder decoder explaining the architecture with a sample input and sample output. So next is some other real-time uses of CNN. So basically some real-time uses we can see on the screen, that music recommendation algorithm, sentiment analysis, spectacle transformer networks, deepface by Facebook. So these are some uses. And next is next is the implementation part. Here we have imported the libraries and prerequisite. Importing these libraries for our usage, for such as sklearn, selection, operate OS, globe, CV2, numpy, for other various purposes. Setting up important parameters and hyperparameters. Here we are just setting up the important parameters and giving them values, so our model can be run according to the values given by us. And here is loading the images from the file into our model. And here is the code explained by this. Importing the data, we have defined a function get all images for importing the images from this dataset. And next is preparation of the dataset, and here we have prepared the dataset, and we are shuffling the data to get some random input for a better learning of the model, and resizing the image for a specific size to get a better learning on the database. Training set and validation set. For training set data, we are using the above function, and we are assigning the computed values in trainx and trainy and converting the values to type float, which will be helpful later. Some part of data held back that is used to give estimate of the model and skill while turning the model's hyperparameters. A validation dataset is a sample of data held back from our training model that is used to give an estimate of model skill while turning a model hyperparameters. The validation dataset is different from the test dataset that is also held back from the training of the model, but it is instead used to give an unbiased estimate of the skill of the final tuned model when comparing or selecting between final models, and we are assigning those values to valid x and valid y, and here are the sample results what we are getting from our model when we working on this model. So next is data augmentation and data processing. So it generates the batches for tensor image data in real time augmentation, and here we are just checking the images and their corresponding masks for checking that they are visible or not in our database. So next, this is some images that validate us that our images and mask are correspondingly correct with respect to each other. So now we are building the model. We are use slight deviation on the UNet standard model using the con2d function. Here we create a convolutional kernel that is convolute with the layer input to produce a tensor of output. The process comprises of 2 convolutional layers, and the number of channels it is from 1 to 16, as it will increase the depth of the image. The size reduced due to padding issues, but the implementation here uses the same padding. The same process is repeated 2-3 more times for better results. Here is some results shown when we are running our model, and here is some loss and accuracy calculations, and basically it's a dividing sampling technique that increases the size of the image. Some padding is done on the original image, and after that we have performed a convolutional operation. After that we have finally reshaped the output image to specify the requirements. And here is loss and accuracy calculation. So here this function, we can see that dice_cof returning the metric and the function dice_pbc returning the loss function, and the last function, which is true positive rate, it's returning us the true positive rate for the function. Training the model, here we are just training our model and getting some following output while training our model, and we are run model according to the above described epochs. So here we are, after running all the epochs, we are plotting our results and in a graph. So we are plotting a graph of true positive rate, loss, and binary accuracy and dice. And here is the results of these graphs which we have plotted, and you can see that these models are learning in a very good manner. So all results are working fine, and here is some more predict values that we have predicted after the after the training of this model. And now it's time to conclude our presentation. So I'm concluding it like UNet is able to do some image localization by predicting the image pixel by pixel, and it claims that the network is strong enough to be good prediction based on even few datasets by using excessive data augmentation techniques. There are many applications of image segmentation using UNet, and it also occurs in lots of fields. And here are some references which we have used to generate this project, and we have used throughout our project, which helps us a lot in learning about the things. And here is us team, myself Darshan Jain and teammate Rajesh Kumar and Nitin Khandelwal concluding the presentation. Thank you.